I'm buying my first business at 23 years old. Follow along to the end of the video to see if this is gonna make me go homeless, or maybe this is the investment that puts me in a different tax bracket. I was talking with my mentor who does millions of dollars a year, and he was talking about this one investment that he made in this business that he bought. It made him like $50,000. It was super low maintenance. He didn't really have to talk to anybody. It was fully remote. He didn't actually have to do anything. It was really just passive cash flow hitting his bank every month. And ever since that conversation, I've been racking my brain trying to figure out how I can get my hands on this business. And I know what you guys might be thinking, like, oh, is this some big apartment complex? Does this guy think he's Bia Heza and he's trying to like buy some big drop shipping business type thing? And absolutely not. It's probably one of the most boring things on earth, and that's why I'm intrigued, because it's not your typical online money like Amazon FBA, drop shipping, trading stocks type thing. It's a real boring ass business that makes a lot of money. And if you guys think you can guess it, then comment below right now what you think it is. I'm giving you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. If you guys happen to comment storage units, you would be absolutely freaking right. It's storage unit. I know it may sound crazy, but I personally run a business right now that's super stressful. It's something that's super high maintenance. I'm very in the weeds. I'm working all the time. And I wanted something that was very not that, so that I could run both at the same time. I've got to a point where I've put multi 6 figures in the bank, and now I'm kind of scratching my head like, what am I gonna do with all this stuff? And really, this is the only thing that's actually caught my interest, and it's why I'm so passionate about it. Let me kind of break down why storage units in the first place. Well, number one, the cool thing about this, in my opinion, is that it can be remotely operated. You can basically put a gate with a padlock and put some cameras around that will require you to not have any people actually working at the facility. What's cool about this is right now I live in Chicago, but a month ago I lived in Miami, and I might want to move and live in other places, so I don't want to have to be tied to one location. Also, the type of customer that would use a storage unit, they have so much stuff in their house that it won't even fit in their house. So they need to buy a storage unit to put this extra stuff in their storage unit. This type of person who has an excess of stuff probably has an excess of money. So it isn't going to be the type of person that can't make their monthly payments or complain about the prices or really anything like that. And even better than that is the stuff that they would put in their storage unit that they don't keep in their house or keep in their apartment is probably stuff they don't actually need at all, which means they're probably not going back and forth like crazy to the storage unit. It's probably going to set it there, and maybe they're going to grab it like 2 or 3 times in a whole year. And with that, it's extremely low maintenance. My mentor, who I talked to about this, literally told me he gets like maybe 2 to 3 like emails, calls, texts like per week. And the best part is you can get a property management company that will do all the management for you. So you don't have to worry about mowing the grass or getting calls from customers or anything like that. It's actually passive because you have a property management company managing the property. The next question would be, where the hell are we going to find one, and how do we know if we're getting a good deal or not? I've never bought a business before, and like everyone my age, we go to YouTube first. So I typed in storage unit business. I look it up, and there's this guy walking around his property, and he literally breaks down every single number. Shout out to Nick Huber, phenomenal video. Basically breaks down every single number, how much he bought it for, how much cash he put into it, how much was a loan, how much he was making in revenue, how much he was making in profit, what expenses he had, what to look for. It was so informative, and it gave me good insight on how I should do this. And then I'm like, okay, well, where do I go buy one? So I go into Google and I type in storage unit business for sale. And LoopNet popped up as a like buy and sell storage unit businesses. And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. So I go on there and I look in my area because I live in Illinois right now. So I'm like, ideally, I'd probably want it to be like Illinois, Indiana, like Missouri, Wisconsin, somewhere in there would probably be ideal. I checked some out, and really the only way I was basing, is this a good investment or not, was like, how much cash flow was it? Because to be frank, I don't want anything south of like 10K a month is really not going to be worth my time. I wanted something that was like going to pay me a lot of money that I'd like put a lot of money into. And I found this one that was making 19 grand a month. And because I'm newer to this, really the way that I was basing if this was a good investment, like generally or not, was how much will it make me per year relative, like kind of like the ratio from that number to how much they're charging for the business, like how much it would be if I bought it. I was like, okay, and the least amount of years possible I get my money back, that would be ideal. And then also in Nick Huber's video, he talked about how the evaluation should roughly be 100x whatever it makes per month in revenue. So I was kind of taking those two numbers and the location, to give me like a couple deals here. And then I found one that was right up my alley. And then I took that to my mentor who's bought one of these businesses in the past. And I asked him about everything and the storage unit that he used to own, how much it was making. And he broke down all those numbers to me, which you could see in the text right here. And then below I sent him my deal and I asked him to look through it for me. And this is really the value of mentors, especially mentors that are double your age, like guys in their 50s and their 60s who have been around the block and they've made all these mistakes. Because me being 23 years old, I've never done this before. But if you know people who have and you're well connected to these people, they can help you so you don't make the mistakes that they did. And you can learn from them, jump over those mistakes, and just get right to the fun part where you're making a lot of money. So now we figured out how to evaluate it. Let's figure out how to automate it, which is funny because it rhymes. So as far as automating it goes, really my big thing, which I mentioned earlier, which is I don't want a single person on the actual premise on the property. So we want a gate that is basically automated with the lock, and that's how you unlock it. You don't have a person that's sitting there all day that you have to pay hourly, because number one, cuts into your margins, which is stupid. And then secondly, I want it to be remote. I want as few employees as possible, but there's got to have a number on the website where people can call and give you money. Or if current customers are calling and they have issues, they have to have somewhere to call. So you have to have at least one person that you can answer these calls, answer the emails, answer the texts, kind of get back to people here and there. Basically what we're going to do is get overseas people from the Philippines or potentially like Brazil that we could pay like $300 a month to do this super part-time and make a substantial amount of money. And I know what you might be thinking, you're taking advantage of people from other countries. That's not true. They can actually make a substantial amount of money, and that's like making like 40, 50 grand a year in the United States. So they're making phenomenal money, and it protects our margins and it makes our margins higher. And I'm going to do this for a bit. And if I don't like it, or it's too much for me to deal with, even though it's really not much to deal with in the first place, I operate a business that's way more complex than this. It's going to be pretty easy for me. If I don't like it, I can get a property management company to do all this for me, so I don't have to think about it at all. And then from that point, it's really fully automated. So at this point in the video, we've talked about what business I'm buying, how I'm going to automate it, why storage units as a whole, and we've consulted my mentor. And if you've noticed, the last thing in the text from my mentor, which you can probably see here, is using a broker to make sure the deal is right. He's like, because you can get wrapped up in all the numbers and everything, but it could be off, it could be wrong. So always find a broker in the area that understands the real estate in that area and how everything works. So I looked into the deal and I found there was actually a brokerage company involved. I found the guy's number. I gave him a call. I left him a voicemail. He didn't get back to me, but he texted me, said he was going to get back to me today. So maybe we'll have some updates in another video after I buy this storage unit. And once I talk to this guy, he's obviously going to ask me, hey, you're a young kid, how are you going to pay for this? If you looked at the deal that I sent my mentor, it's $2.8 million. I do not have $2.8 million in cash. And even if I did, I wouldn't pay in cash for this business. It's really just stupid to do that. There's a couple different options you can do here. You can get a loan from the bank and just ask them to give you that money. You can do an SBA loan. With really both of these, you're going to put down 10%. So I'd only have to put down like 280 grand, which is more than doable for me. Or my last option is basically would be seller financing, where I put down a smaller down payment and then I just pay the person I'm buying the business off of every single month until they get their full amount of money. After watching some videos from Cody Sanchez, I know she always talks about doing seller financing, but after talking with our mentor, he really preferred the whole SBA loan route. He said you're going to save so much more money on interest, so he recommended I do it this way. So basically going to put 10% down. So I'm going to get a loan for $2.5 million. And then I'm basically going to put down the rest as far as like a down payment goes. So what I realized, if I put $250,000 down and I'm making 19 grand a month, it's going to take 10 to 11 months just to get my down payment paid for, not including the expenses of the property, the interest of the loan. After I sent this to my mentor, he's like, they're charging a lot of money. This is not a good deal. If you could talk to them and negotiate it with your broker and get it way down, closer to like $2 million, $2.2 million, maybe you have yourself a deal, but you might want to go look for a better deal, because he said what's most important in real estate and storage units is your cash on cash return. So it was like, if you could put down $50,000, $60,000 down payment and then make 10, 12 grand a month, but you can make all your money back in like 5 months and your cash on cash versus 10, 11 months. He's like, that's pretty crazy. So now you guys really know what's going through my head and how I'm going to get this done, how I'm going to source the deal, where I'm going to find it, how my mentor kind of helped me realize if I was getting screwed over or not. And you guys really know everything about how I'm going to buy it and do absolutely everything. So if you guys made it to the end of this video, subscribe now, because pretty soon you're going to see a video of me after I bought the storage unit, and maybe I'll walk you guys through in person the unit that I've actually bought. And I want you guys to comment below if you think I'm crazy for buying this business, if you think there's a good state for the business to be in, or anything that I may have missed in this video. And as always, thanks for watching.